name is Nelly. I grew up in Kenya, and right now I am the founder of Techlit Africa. So Techlit Africa, we build computer labs in rural African schools. And the whole idea is to empower these kids so that they grow up with these skills that are not usually available in rural Africa, so that by the time they graduate high school, they're actually in a better place. They can actually get a job at these remote American companies. So my co-founder and I are using our experiences as software engineers to train these kids on all the skills that we see that the market needs. And the coolest part is that we are doing it as part of their curriculum. Our teachers are there from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we see the whole school every 2 days. So every 2 days we are seeing over 800 kids. So right now we're working with over 6,000 kids. They're all learning touch typing, coding, design, animation, all this stuff. Yeah, I'll show you our music video, which is sung by one of our teachers.
Smart Records. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. I'm proud of you, Techlit Africa. You make African people be happy. You bring a lot of changes, and you're doing a lot of goodness. Oh my God, take it, be blessed. Umeleta mabadiliko, umeleta maendeleo. Take me, thank you, may God bless you. Acha nipige makofi, makofi ya Techlit Africa. Proud of you, Techlit Africa, Africa. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. Mwanafunzi anatumia tarakilishi bora, hakuna ubaguzi, ni maendeleo sawa sawa. Mpaka vijijini wana furaha, wana dijitali, na walimu pia nao wamefurahi na dijitali. Ukimwona yule pale naye, ukimwona huyu hapa naye, wakubwa kwa wadogo wanaanza sasa kwa ajili ya Techlit Africa. Kama ni sabati wanajua, kama Kiingereza wanajua, kama ni mitambo washelewa sana. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. Techlit Africa, Africa, Mama Africa, Africa, you are my friend, Africa. Big up to you, Nelly. Big up to you, Tyler. You are our number one, number one, number one. Thank you, Techlit, Techlit Africa.
Okay, let's see. No, this is not. Oh, present. Nice. Okay. Yay. Sounds good. I mean, this is just like a quick introduction of what we're doing. We're spreading leverage with technology. But I'm going to go a little bit fast into my background and how I came up to Techlit Africa and why Techlit Africa is so important. And I have a few pictures here. And here on the top left is a picture of my mom. So she's outside at a kibanda, which is, I don't even, what kind of audience do I have here? Do they, have they been to Kenya? Do they understand? Do they like kind of get the idea? Have they been to, has any of them been to Kenya? Like,
Well, you've got a lot of Kenyans and.
Okay, sounds good. So most of them have
You've got a lot of Kenyans. There's a good mix.
Okay, some of them have been to Africa too, right? Sounds good. Okay, for those who hasn't been, so yeah, she just used to work at a kibanda, which is this kiosk. She would wake up at in the morning, bake mandazi and chapatis, and then sell it all day. And before she was working at this kibanda, she used to do some kind of churuzi, where you go and buy goats from a town and then sell it. And so I am the third born. I have two elder sisters. So this is Sharon right here, and this is Barbara right here. And so I was the middle child. And by the time I was in class 6, so 6th grade, she was never around because she was traveling, just trying to put the four girls, we were 4 of us, the 4 girls through school. So I really watched her work so hard, work tirelessly, try different businesses and failing over and over again, just trying to put us through school. And the most heartwarming thing was recently, someone came to us and gave us a piece of paper and said, hey, can you help us fill this? And then I told Mom, my handwriting is so bad now. I've been on a computer for so long. I've not been writing so much. Can you just do it? And you know what? She could not do it because she did not go to school. And so I never even thought about that because she worked so hard to put us through school, all 4 girls, single mother, and herself never went to school, didn't even know how to write. And that was just the most heartwarming thing ever. And so watching my mom really struggle just gave me this urge to first really just take care of her, because I was aware of all the businesses that she was doing. I was aware of how tough it was, especially as a woman in rural Kenya. And I just really wanted to just help her. I really wanted for her when I grow up to live like a queen. And I kept just always singing to her, mkono wangu mdogo we hawezi kufanya kazi, nikikuwa mkubwa we nitakusaidia, utapumzika, which is just like, my hands are so tiny, I cannot do anything, but when I grow up, I'm going to take care of you. And and so for me, even at 9 years old, I just knew that I have to do something. And so at first it was just embracing education. I just knew that with education, I had a chance to fly out of poverty, to empower people, to just do so much for my mom and do so much for kids who were growing up in poverty like I was. And I used to study really hard in school. My mom could not afford kerosene. And so there was a hospital which was nearby where I used to live. And I'll just go there and sit at the veranda and study until 2 a.m. I used to have any textbooks I get, I put it in my bag. I was in class 6 reading Form 2 textbooks, like high school textbooks. I was just always reading. And I just kept imagining how life was like outside. I was living my life through textbook. And I graduated the top girl in my district, went to a national school, could not afford to go to that national school because of tuition, Mary Hill Girls. I was always sent home for tuition. But all in all, I also graduated. I got an A. I was one of I did really well out of that high school and got into Zawadi Africa. And then from Zawadi Africa, it was easier. I got to Zawadi Africa, applied to schools, and then got to America. And when I got to America, it was different. It's a whole different culture. But one of the coolest things I could do was I could work as a student. And so I could only work 20 hours a week. And I used to use up all those 20 hours. Those 20 hours, I'll take that money and just as other international students who are flying to Mexico for a vacation, I was not doing all that. I was just saving all that money. And 1 year in, I bought a piece of land, just a plot of land, just a small piece of land, because I wanted to build my mama house. As you see, like, this is the house I grew up in. We were even embarrassed to take any pictures inside. And so I just wanted to build a nice house that we'll be proud to invite people in and just host people. And then I realized building a house is expensive and it's going to take me forever. If it took me a year to save only $700 to buy a plot of land, to afford a house is going to be really hard. So I decided to move them into an apartment, a much better apartment, not like the one you see here, one with a latrine on site, because we used to go somewhere for the latrine. We had to walk away for quite a while to just get a latrine, something with a water tank, electricity, and all these things. And so I moved them so I flew to Kenya in 2013. I came to America in 2012, flew to Kenya in 2013, went into Kariobangi South, which is one of the settlements, bought furniture, all this furniture that you see here, and just drove all the way to Mogotio and tell my mom, we are getting out of here. So I just moved them out of that house. We moved into this house. I even got some fancy dresses. And for the first time in our life, we were taking pictures inside our house. For the first time, we were just so proud to have people over. It was just the most amazing thing. But they could not afford to live here. They could not afford, they couldn't even afford to pay a $3 rent. How could they afford to pay a $40 rent? So I'm going back to America, trying to navigate this culture, but I'm still on the hook to support them every month, paying electrical bill, paying rent, paying everything. Something I did not anticipate. And I was already thinking about working on my community. I was already thinking about and just about how to go forward and help other people. But before I tell you more about the things, here are a few more pictures. This is a picture of my mom and I recently, just at a building here. And then it's a picture of my grandma. Just like my mom, my grandma didn't go to school either, and she just wanted to graduate. She just wanted to graduate. She wanted to have a degree. And so when I graduated college, I gave her my graduation gown, and she still wears it today. She's just, she still wears it all the time. She's like, I've got a diploma. She's a diploma, so she calls it diploma. Anyway, so this is the part here. And so I was on the hook to support my family. And I started thinking about sustainability. I was like, if I'm always sending money home every month, it's gonna be hard for me to even get to my community. It's gonna be really hard to even work with, because I've always cared about just kids. I want kids to just be kids, not have to worry about raising their younger sisters like I did, or having a childhood. And so I decided to build a school. It's a very small school. You see here, it's a very small school. And this is in 2015. So 2 years of supporting them, I started thinking about building a school. So this is the land I had bought in 2013 with the $700. So I already had land, and through all my savings, I was always working enough hours and saving all of it. I wasn't spending much. I've been very frugal. I was able to get about $2,000. I was like, oh, this is a lot of money. I'm going to build a very fancy school, That money did not even go anywhere. All that money went into the latrine that I was trying to first build, and then the building. Anyway, so these are pictures in 2015, very tiny school. It ended up costing me about $8,000. And so it was just mostly like trying to get loans from friends and then paying them back. I did a GoFundMe fundraiser, only raised $300. And so I just started building it. And these pictures were taken in 2016. So I started building the school in May 2015. In 2016, January, they are moving in. So 6 months later, they were moving in. And my sister, Sharon, so her, she's the eldest. Once we just finished building the building, I just told her, I don't have any money. I am so much in debt. I need to pay all these people back. You just go with it. And so what she did is she took some leftovers bricks, lined them up, just lined them up, and went and got like the books and the chalk and everything on that, and just start the classroom. So the first day, she had about 15 kids, which is really awesome for a first day of just a school. It wasn't even really a school, because if you see this building, it's not up to standard with the Kenyan education system. It's very tiny, only one. And so we were building it as a nursery school, as a daycare, kind of like pre-education, preschool. So we're only offering like really small. As you can see, it's ECD, it's very tiny, right? And and she just started growing it. And since then, 2016, I've never needed to support them anymore. So already I started thinking about sustainability. I never needed to support them anymore. They were already growing. And so having a school now, I started looking at, the reason I also built a school is because I've really cared about education. It's what I think is such a really good investment. And so having a school now, I had a template. I had something to experiment with, things to experiment with. And just real quick, these are my sisters now. So this is all of us. So Sharon, this picture was taken this year in March. So Sharon is running the school. Barbara, who had really struggled to even graduate and go to college, is now leading a kind of like an agrovet, like a really big agrovet distributor in Mogotio. And this is me building Techlit Africa. And then this is my younger sister, the one I was raising. She's now in college learning water engineering. So we're all really thriving, and it's just really cool. Yes. And then now that I had a school, I could also do some experiments. I could bring some programs in. And another part of my story is that I first used a computer when I was in Zawadi, Africa, after I graduated high school, right? After I came into Zawadi, Africa, and we were applying to schools. Even as Zawadi Africa, I was just asking people, how do I open a file? How do I save a file? How do I do this? Because I did not know anything about computers growing up in rural Kenya in Mogotio. And then when I got to America, I've always wanted to be a pilot. And then when I flew for the first time, I hated it. And so when I got to America, I wanted to find a different dream. And so I just majored in chemistry because I was good at it. It was up to my third year in college when I was building the school that I discovered computer science, that I learned that a field like computer science existed. And I just fell in love with it. And I dropped my chemistry major and switched to computer science. And I only had 1 year to get a degree in computer science because my scholarship was only a 4-year scholarship. So I switched to computer science, got a degree in 1 year, which is insane. And then I was also building the school. So as I was taking the computer degree, I was also thinking about the school and how it can accommodate digital literacy. Because as I'm on this path to, sustainably fix poverty, I've constantly think of why is rural Africa, why we are poor. And you can talk about everything. You can say it's our government. You can talk about corruption. You can talk about all you want. But I really think that deep down is the systems that we have in place. If I need to get a loan, I'm looking at 15% interest rates, right? Even though I have good credit and only like 2 months grace period. You can't even do anything with that, right? If I'm trying to build something, if I was, for example, I was building Amazon in Kenya, it's gonna be really hard because we don't have good postal service, we don't have good roads. And to build a really thriving system that support businesses that thrive in America, in a place like Africa, is really hard because of all those things. But then if you look at computers, it's so powerful and so easy to distribute. All you need is a laptop and internet, and you have access to the digital economy, right? If you know how to code, you can work remotely from anywhere. If you know how to do marketing, you can do it remotely from anywhere. Now you're even taking courses online, right? Everything is online, and you don't need good roads for that. You don't need good postal service. You don't even need good loan rates. You don't need that. And so I saw this as such an easy way to sustainably fix poverty, such an easy way to empower people to tap into the global economy and not only try to get jobs that are locally available. And also, as I was thinking about this, I'm meeting friends who are building startups and they're outsourcing their software engineering jobs to people in Europe, people in India. And I'm like, what? Like, there's no talent locally. And so I saw that our education system was lacking in terms of preparing people to be tech literate, preparing people to take advantage of this fourth revolution, if I'm to say. And so I thought about if I could just bring computers, which is not hard. These computers are being thrown away in America anyway. If I could just bring these computers, and if I could partner with schools and work with these schools to just get these programs in, and using my experience as software engineers, if we can use that and actually train them for what the market needs, then by the time they're graduating high school, they're tapping into this awesome resource. Like it seemed so easy, it seems so lined up. And yeah, so this is what you're seeing here. You see the kids are holding computers. They're all really happy because they passed their first touch typing. So I don't know if you know touch typing. If you look at most Kenyans, mostly they type as a DJ, like trying to find the letters in. And so these kids were just doing touch typing and they're really excited. Just a few more pictures from, you see here, she's the youngest. Her name is Lady. She's 7 years old. She's here too and here too. She really has it. And here too, oh my God. She's really the face of Techlit Africa. She's teaching other kids who are actually much older. Here she's teaching networking. And then here she was just teaching them touch typing. And then here she's coding, So you see it's already pair programming, coding, touch typing. And then here they're also pair programming. And And then when I was running the computer labs at the small school, so we're just running computer labs and all that. This lady came to me and she talked to me. She told me about, she was telling me that she never went to school. She doesn't even know how old she is. And she was asking if we had any other programs, if we had any programs like braiding hair and tailoring that we can, and that we can include, like we can teach her, because she doesn't know how to read. So it's really hard to get her from not knowing how to read to using computers. It's too much to ask. And her story just really sunk, like it was, because education is so core to my story. I did not know how to even even help. And so I just gave her a simple game that kind of like teaches you basic. But I started thinking about how I can accommodate everyone in the community, not just people who can take advantage of tech, but also how can I reskill the existing ones who never went to school or who don't have the skills and they're just like waiting at home, you know, for their husbands to provide, which leads to really domestic violence. And I started sketching. So here's the thing, started thinking about the high school students, the adults, and started sketching. I was like, you know what, I've built a building before, let's make it massive. Let's build something bigger. And this is what I came up with. I wanted to build a building that is now gonna make Zawadi, since it was thriving really well, not just an ECD school, not just a primary, just working with kids, but actually a legit school that offers Kenyan education curriculum. So that was going to go to the first floor. The second floor is going to go towards digital literacy, just getting people to work online, getting people to get those jobs and be able to just make money online. So that was Techlit Africa. That's easy. But then the next two, this floor was going to go towards adult literacy and a library. And I really wanted to have a space where girls especially can have a safe place to study. Because when I was studying in the veranda at the hospital, it was not safe for me. And so I wanted to provide a space that girls can come in and study on their works and all that. And then the top one is going to go towards vocational training, you know, braiding hair and tailoring. So this is the building we were sketching. So this was the sketching in 2019 when we were running the computer labs. And this is the foundation. And this is the building now. It's getting there. This is not, the picture's a bit old, but it's kind of getting there. We have about 4 floors built up. We already have vocational training. We already have, I don't know if you know, if you're Kenyans here know about Darling, the hair brand. They actually had our story and came in and started the hair school at the old school. So the old school, we just graduated 30 women who are learning how to braid. And the coolest thing is that they are braiding the coolest hairstyles. So they're the talk of the town. Everyone is like, oh, I'm gonna go to Zawadi market now and get my hair done. And you know, it's so fancy. And so it's really cool to see people who 3 months ago did not even know about braiding. And now that the talk of the town, everyone wants to come in and get their hair done. Here's just a picture of, this is not staged at all. We were dropping computers at this school, Barina School, and just, it's so genuine expression. The kids just love the program. They just, it's really amazing. Right. So yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I know the topic here is about adaptive leadership. And so I'll add a few things. So I think what has become really clear to me as I am working on this thing is that it's the multiply effect, right? So along the way, as I'm trying to build all these different organizations and all these different ventures, what has become really clear is it's a lot easier to just identify people, what they're good at, you know, what they're good at, and empower that in them. I was a college student when I was building the school. There's no way I could be on the ground building the school. Instead, I saw that my sister was a really good teacher, but she was really bad at construction. She was just a good teacher, but she's bad at construction. So I found someone else who can help me with the construction. But then it was ready. I just gave her the keys. I was like, you run with this, see how far we can go. And she has just taken that and grown that part. Right now, as I'm talking, I have a team in Kenya, 20, I'm calling from Chicago. I have a team in Kenya, 20 teachers in Kenya right now who are running the computer labs. So the computer labs are just, the computer labs are thriving. We're working with over 6,000 kids right now. We have 20 teachers that we are continuously investing in them. We are teaching them about all these skills. And the goal is that we want them to leave Techlet. We want them to leave Techlet and start tapping the digital economy. We want them to go and start working remotely for these American companies and making way much more than they're making working for Techlet. And so we are investing in them. On weekends, we're teaching them about design. And the coolest thing is that we are finding what they're good at. We're not teaching everyone software engineering. We're teaching some of them marketing. The guy singing is one of our teachers, right? And now we're trying to get him just more opportunities to sing for different organizations. Same thing with the building. The building, I was there to build part of it, but then I left, and then someone else is running the building. The hair school, the same thing. Found someone else who's just really good at running those things. And so what I'm really good at is finding people. Besides that, I'm not good at anything, just finding people and just empowering that in them. And I think that's the kind of just the leadership that I think works, because the other kind of leadership is divisive, the micromanager one, the way you're micromanaging anything and not giving people the power to just run with it. So if you just give them a push, invest in them, and just believe in them, they surprise you. I'm constantly surprised with what the guys in Kenya are doing right now, what our teachers are doing right now.
Hi, everyone. So I guess we are, speechless, profound. I just want to highlight on something, as in I almost feel like we've already wrapped up the entire course. Like, oh my gosh, that's it in Nelly's story. So I'm deeply challenged. A couple of things, my takeaways is use what you have now to make a difference. You don't have to wait. I mean, this girl has done it with only 20 hours of work study. Do you know how little that is? And she just did it. She used what she had there and then without waiting for something bigger. But also with my background in community dialogues and conversations, I know the background has always been to facilitate venting spaces for communities so that they can talk about their problems and find their own solutions, to demystify, we need the government to always come to our aid. We need our MCAs, our leaders. I know we're talking about leadership, but there's also that other aspect where the people that you lead may as well also be the very reason of your downfall, for lack of a better word, because they come from a place of not understanding that they're part of that process, they're part of that community. And that's what Nelly has done, creating solutions from that platform and not waiting up on any other external force. What do I have right now and what can I use? Nelly, I think I can't do justice as a response to all this, but honestly, it's like you've wrapped up our coursework. As much as we have so many months to go, let me just stop there, because I don't even know what else to say, and I'm sure I share this sentiment with so many of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nelly, I will unmute you so you can have a reply and everything. Sally, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just thinking to myself, Nelly, you're full of wisdom, ahead of time. Honestly, I have no words. And my takeaway today has been find people. And I say wisdom because you have the wisdom to observe people and know what they're good at and what they're bad at. And you don't get stuck on how bad at what they are, but how good they are at. And you have tapped into what people are good at and created this ecosystem that is just phenomenal. My other takeaway is trust people and let them surprise you. And that is powerful. So, you know what? May every other door open so that you can continue to do great work in this world. Truly proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sally. Yeah, that's my own philosophy. Otherwise it's so hard. If you're gonna do everything yourself, you can't. It's just exhausting. Maybe I'm just lazy.
Nelly, you have 155 women in this class currently. We're also inspired. So I just want to say that I think this was such a fit for a charismatic leader. I mean, if you are not a charismatic leader, I don't know who is. Lucy, go ahead.
Wow, Nelly, this is amazing. Africa for Africa, I keep on talking about the transformation comes from within, and you are the next generation. You are the millennials. There is hope for us, and I want to thank you so much for your story. When we did, I think it was the second session, we had a guest who spoke about her book, which was on bold leadership, and we were very clear that time that we need to hear stories from fellow Africans. I do hope that you have a plan to put your story into a book, because this is very inspirational. People can relate to it. This is an African story that somebody can relate to it. My questions are two. The first one is, your dream was big and looked impossible, yet you went ahead and did it. How did you get buy-in? Because in that community, they must have looked at you and thought you were crazy. You had crazy written all over your head. So number one, how did you get the buy-in as a leader? Because you need to inspire people as a leader. You need to get them to follow you. How do you get buy-in? Secondly, taking risks. I am not a risk taker. I love it when I see people taking risks and I hold my breath on your behalf. When you took these risks, what is it that you had in your mind? What made you keep on going? Because you never stopped. You took one risk after another. It's as if you're on a high of something. So those are my two questions. That second question being is, what was on your mind when you were taking these risks?
That's really good questions, Lucy. I'll start with the second one. You know what? Worst case scenario, I go back to the life I lived, which is I lived for 18 years. So you can't really go any lower than that. So I guess that's one of the perks of growing up in poverty. You can only go up. Really, like what? What else? You've seen it all. You've gone to school barefoot. You've slept. You've gone to bed hungry. You've seen it all. And so, if I have lived that life, and if I'm going back to that life, then right. And so it was so much easy to only go upwards, because I knew that I could not. There's no way I could go I could go below the life I grew up in. And so, and then for me, it's, I think part of it, what helped is that I knew what I needed to see. I knew that I just knew, like watching your mom really struggle that long just to put us through school, and then kind of finding out that herself, she didn't go to school. And sometimes I'll overhear conversation of some people will visit and be like, why do you work so hard on these girls? They're just going to get married, you know? And so just seeing that, I'm like, she has gone through all it all and she still keeps fighting. So who am I to just stop now, right? I'm lucky I have, I have Zawadi Africa. I'm lucky I have all this network. I'm lucky I've even gone to America and kind of like, yeah. And so just comparing where I'm at, and looking at the worst case scenario, I'm like, I've already lived the worst case scenario. It doesn't get any worse than that. And when I take a chance, if it doesn't pan out, and then I've never really cared what people think, that if I fail, what people will say. I don't, because that's dogma. If you live thinking about what people are gonna say about you, what they're gonna laugh at you, then first of all, most people don't care about you. Really, it's just like everyone is dealing with their own shit. No one cares about what you're dealing with. And so, yeah. And then if they care so much, then that's fine. If they start laughing at you, that's okay. They can keep laughing and they'll move over. So I've never really cared what people think and if people are going to laugh. So with that kind of mindset, I've become really bold. Right.
Yeah. Bold is the word. Yeah.
Yeah, I've become really bold because I'm like, okay, they laugh at me. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna land. I'm gonna move on.
So how did you get people to buy into your what seemed like a crazy idea? I can imagine in that village setting.
Yeah, I think it's not easy. I still face challenges right now, because actually one of the saddest thing is when I was building the fancy building, the bigger building, all my siblings were against me. All of them were like, what are you doing? You're just coming here with your American ideas. And it was the most hurtful thing ever. It was really hard to just see some people that you have invested so much, you just like, this is your support system, and they just did not get it. So most people don't get it. And but I mostly work with kids, and so kids are really awesome. And so I just kept focusing on the work. I kept focusing on making those kids happy. I spend all my time with them. I go running with them. I just, even you can see from the videos, we're always dancing and doing stupid things. I just spend all the time with them. And then so when I focus on the work, right, when people start seeing the impact from the people you're working with, then it's easy. There's two ways I could go about Techlit Africa. I could go to the education, the Ministry of Education of Kenya, and try to tell them, hey, you need to include digital curriculum. You need to do this. Kids need to be learning about this. I could go about that, right? And then the Ministry of Education can issue a mandate that says, okay, this is what you're learning. Or I could go to the kids themselves, and start working with them and start understanding how this is going to be helpful for the kids. And I really prefer the latter version, the kind that started from bottom up, the kind that gets the beneficiary in the heart and taking the stories. So now everything has been built around those kids. If the first school did not do well, there's no way we could have all these things that we're doing right now, because it's all based on the impact that we're having on those kids. And so when you're constantly working on the people that you're benefiting from, you're working with, and you're loving them, and something that I've become really proud of, and I'm really striving for, is a really positive mindset of Africa. If you look at the reason that if you come to America and they think of Africa, just think about sadness. That's because most of the nonprofits who are working in this area, it's just some white guy who came to visit Kenya once and like, oh, kids were sad. I'm gonna raise $1 million now to to help these people, right? And so and they've kind of formed this image, and then all their conversation is about how people are dying, how people are hungry. And if you look at our website, if you look at our communication on social media, if you look at our pictures, it's just all positivity and energy. It's the kind of communications and everything that you want to invest in, because we are looking for investment. We're not looking for help, right? Because help is transactional. Help is just like, oh, I feel sad for you. Take this money, then I'm gonna feel better about myself. But we want people to invest in these kids. We want people to invest in these communities. And so if we're looking for investment, we want to be like, these are people I want to spend time with, right? These are people I want to get to know. These are people I want to be in their music videos, you know? And so this is, so that's something I'm constantly striving for, is changing the image of Africa, because, oh man, those are the people have really done us a number.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being authentic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both of you. And it's everything that we said in the last, I think in the last section about not caring what people think. So thank you for again reminding us that we should not care what people think. We have a couple of questions in the chat, so I'm just going to go ahead and read those out loud. So we have a question coming in, and it's, how did you overcome the challenges of being a woman in the community of Mogodia? I probably pronounced that wrong.
Yeah, Mogotio is the way you say it. Oh man, I still struggle with it all the time. I think one time there's this person who came to the school. It was kind of like someone in the education space, in the county education space. They almost closed the school because they're like, wait, what? You're run by 2 women? I think it's really frustrating. But then you know what I've really come to deal with that is they don't have all the facts. They really don't have all the facts, right? My sisters did not support the first building, the really fancy building I was building, because they did not have all the facts. They did not know that I had a vision for this building, or that I'm gonna work day and night to make sure the building sees it through and try to fundraise for it and all that. They didn't have all the facts. All they saw was that we were so poor. Now we have a source of income from this small school. Let's just not waste money to build a building that's never gonna go completed. So for them, they're coming from a point of scarcity. And so for me, every time I get challenges or it's just like they don't have all the facts. I can tell you all about my vision. I can tell you my vision may come across, but my tenacity may not come across. My tenacity may come across, but my story may not come across. So people will see me and be like, oh, she went to America. Americans have money. She's just like giving us some of the leftovers, right? She doesn't care about us. Or they'll say all these things, but they're saying all these things because they don't have all the facts. They don't know everything, right? And if they knew everything, and then they could have done it better. So so that it's like, yeah, they really don't have all the facts. And I don't spend my time on that, because that is just draining. I surround myself with positive energy. I really do. I come to a point where I don't talk to half my family, because when I go hang out with them, I just don't feel good about myself. So why would I keep spending my time there? I'd rather spend with people who will talk about positive energy. And because all these things is just motivation. When you're building something, it's just like, it's really, if I wasn't motivated about it, I won't do it. And it's so easy to give up. It really is easy to give up. And so if you keep surrounding yourself with people who kind of make you hate yourself, or kind of like hate what you're doing, so it's really hard to keep going. So I normally just surround myself with people that, yeah. And then if you don't get what we're doing, or you're just being a negative energy, I just avoid you. Like literally just avoid you. I don't, I avoid your calls. I just avoid you altogether.
It's so funny that you say that. I feel like you've been following me around for this day. I had a very similar situation today, and I thought to myself, with, and I feel like we all do. We are in our families, and sometimes we feel drained from our families, and maybe we don't even get the support from our brothers and sisters. And this automatically feels so much, it is so much more impactful on what we do when it comes from your family and when it comes from someone else. And this is where we still got to say, okay, if this is the vision and they don't know, and this really inspired me personally. Let's do more questions.
They don't have all the facts. That's all there is to it. They don't have all the facts. If they did, they would be doing it better. So
do you even bother with trying to explain what your vision is, or is it, charismatic leaders just say to yourself, they'll see themselves?
I think so. Yeah, it depends. So I really, I'll talk to you. I'll just read the water. So for me, I think I've kind of like learned this, kind of like doing a little bit from sales. Like I don't give it away immediately. I get to like just get you talking. So I don't really, unless I'm giving a presentation like this, I'm just talking all the time. But if I'm in a conversation with you, you're the one who's mostly doing the talking. And then I just listen, and I'll get you to, I really care about making people feel good about themselves. So you feel the best about yourself when you're talking about the things that you care about. So I'm in a conversation with you, I'm like, oh, you're an investment banker, what is that like, right? And it's so easy for people to reveal themselves, and then you see if it's worth it to sell it to them. Because you may assume that I'm doing good things, so everyone gets it. No, not everyone gets it. So you kind of just understand. It's really easy to see what the other side is thinking and whether they're going to be receptive. Sometimes you may be wrong. You may start talking about it, and then you can read the expressions. And if they're not into it, you just kind of like, brush it off. Yeah. It's funny because like you'll think that, oh, I need to like power through and be rejected. No, just avoid rejection altogether. Just live in this happy, proud life, and you're gonna keep going.
You're great. You're like a charger. I feel like I can charge my energy on you.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. You'll be thinking, oh, I need to, like with sales, you'll think like, oh, I just need to get this one really hard client, and if I get this one client to say yes to me, then I can get all these other clients to do it. But no, it's the other way. You need to get the easiest client and then build your morale and go to the next easiest one and next easiest one. Yeah,
that's what I think. All right, let's do more questions. I understood someone here.
Hi, my name is Nyambura Kigo, and I must say, I have bawled, I have laughed, I have been motivated by what you've just said. Nelly, you're a force. You're a force. And mine is a statement, I think, or I don't know what it is. Honestly, I'm just even confused. So as a student from Kenya, I see all these problems that we usually have, but we also have the solution. So there are some things I've gotten from your conversation. There are like 5 of them. 1, African problems deserve African solution from Africans. That's one of the major things that I've gotten. And we can bypass all these things that we usually see as problems, infrastructural development issues, and all those things, and just get our solutions ourselves, and no savior mentality anymore. Secondly, I've learned about vision and how to stick to your vision and focusing your energy and everything you have on that particular vision as a leader, so that you don't get distracted by all these sideshows. Thirdly, I've learned something about self-awareness and overcoming this fear due to scarcity mentality, especially some of us who have grown up in some scarce environments. We can have that scarcity mentality, and it can, blind us in not seeing where we are supposed to go and how we are supposed to get there. Lastly, I've learned about centering the person to the solution that you're providing. Center the person, not every other thing. Just center the people that you want to give that solution to, and going way forward. Honestly, you have validated a conversation that I was having in the morning, and I was trying to tell someone on, hey, I think we have the solution to these three things, and we can actually not even rely on the government to give us the solution to that. And the person was like, oh yeah, you are building myself in there. And honestly, at some point, I really felt bad. I was like, oh, or maybe it's just some dream I have, and it cannot work. But you have validated conversations I've had for such a long time, including today in the morning. And thank you, Nelly. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Nyambura must be the best student here. She just summarized everything and very concise and all that. Yeah, it's just, you find your people. You just find your people. And again, it's so crazy how all the things that we do, especially as founders, it's just all about motivation. Like what motivates us, how motivated we are. Because before you become a brand, before you become successful, before you become a household name, it really takes a lot of energy and everything out of you. So you kind of like, you just have to stay motivated, and you won't stay motivated by trying to defend your little decisions to the negative people in your life. That's not going to be motivating. You wanna find someone who is like, I have this idea, and they're like, yes, we could also do this and this. Oh, this is gonna work. Oh my God, we're gonna get a hold of Oprah because of this, right? You're obviously not going to, but that kind of energy is what you need, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nelly. I think we had a lot of different comments in the chat as well. If you want, if you wish, I see that you've shared your website. So, I mean, we have, as I mentioned, 155 students here who are women leaders on ground in all parts of Africa and some other parts of the world, mostly Africa, but maybe there's some connections, and maybe we just planted some seeds today for any types of future collaboration. So please feel free, if you want to connect and with each other, you can do so. Yes, there's LinkedIn. Thank you, Nelly, for sharing, everyone, so you can connect. I'm just going to real quickly, we'll do another question, but I will launch the poll question for the attendance today. It's a question with just one answer. So I have one the other's choice too. So be careful. All right, let's, Eva, go ahead, Eva.
Okay, mine isn't a question, but a comment. I think there are no words that can describe Nelly. Every word that we try to use is just doesn't do her justice. Passion, brilliance, exceptional, inspiring. At some point, I even called my son to come and listen to her, because I think he needs that, and he needs to hear that, just where she has come from and where she is right now, compared to, is it at a place where he has everything. And I think he know what he can do with what he has. So he had to see what Nelly has done with the little or nothing that she had to where she is right now. So Nelly, you're absolutely amazing. And I think I just wanted to ask if there's somewhere that we can read about your story, because I also have a daughter that I need to, to tell about you. And young people really need to know about you, because they're really sitting on their abilities and on their talents, and they just need to know and see that somebody has done it with much less than they have. And you know, just you have, because I've been thinking of starting up a project, and every time I feel like I don't have enough resources, I'm not equipped enough, but because of you, girl, I'm on to it. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. You are amazing, absolutely amazing. And Julia, thank you for having her here. She has really done it for us tonight.
Oh, that is so inspiring. I am always online. I'm mostly on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I cannot shut up about Techlet. So if you need to get a hold of me, it's just all over on LinkedIn. Our website is also techletafrica.org. So you can get a hold of our website and just learn all about that.
And can I just say, from a marketing perspective, I mean, that's what she's a millennial. That's what she's doing. She's creating YouTube videos. I mean, how amazing was this video? I can't wait to show it to my brother who loves music and loves to dance and cheer. That's how she's engaging. I'm so empowered on multiple levels. And you're right, Eva, no words can, it doesn't make the justice. So I think we're sadly gonna wrap up. I don't know, I'm still tearing up, but out of happiness, I'm so, again, thankful. Nelly, thank you so much. It's the morning where you are, so we all wish you a wonderful day and all the success that you need, all the luck that you need, and please stay this charismatic leader that you are. Actually, I'm sure you will, because other people are charging from you. So that's what a true charismatic leader is. Everyone, I don't want to say anything about classwork, because then I'm just going to ruin it. So everyone, have a wonderful day. And thank you so much, Nelly. Bye-bye, everyone.